the world's most popular monster truck, the Grave Digger, tries to regain his old form today on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. And wait till you see all of this incident involving King Kong. The fireworks have only just begun.
Douglas, once again, the TNT Monsters are in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for more side-by-side competition. Last week, it was Greg Holbrook and the Equalizer taking the victory. He'll try to do it again here today. But Army Armstrong, one of the big stories today in Myrtle Beach, is going to be to keep our eyes on the Bigfoot 4 truck. This could be the last time we see Bigfoot 4 in TNT competition.
Yeah, the word's come down to us that this will be the last time we're going to see 4 because they're going after the World Championship, but they're going to use the 8 truck to do it. Now, those of you that follow the sport know the scenario. The 8 truck, they had to set it out for 2 months in order to allow the rest of the trucks to catch up with it. And I believe it could have happened. If you look at the truck right behind us, you'll notice some new shock absorbers. These shocks cost $1,500 a piece. They're manufactured in California. A lot of people are getting involved in the technical end of these monster trucks, so the drivers feel like, bring on Bigfoot 8. We're ready for him.
You're talking about the shocks of the micro machines right behind us. What makes them different, Army?
They're gas-type shocks. They're a heavier shock. They're the same basic shock that's used in off-road racing in California. But because of the weight of these trucks, they have to be much sturdier. The man that designed the shock, that actually invented the shock, has his name on it, but he's covered the name up. There's a lot of secrecy here. He says if these shocks don't work, I'll give you your money back and buy you a whole new setup. So he believes in the shocks. We saw him run once last week. I was impressed with it. This could be the hot hand for the rest of the year, Scott.
Something else we saw last week, the return of the 1989 Driver of the Year, David Morris, but not in the Equalizer. That split remains. He's now driving no problem. Army, though, rumors are flying that the only reason he's doing this is to set him up for possibly a ride in another truck.
Well, the rumors are flying, and the other truck, all I can tell you, is blue in color.
And it's a Ford. There you see David Morris struggling with the Ford that he's piloting now, the no-problem Bronco. And he's pointing to John Moore, trying to tell him exactly what's wrong, but obviously big problems there in qualifying for the no-problem Bronco. Well, the Grave Digger and Dennis Anderson, qualifying round highlight here, and watch the Digger in a patented Dennis Anderson wild bonsai run. Dennis Anderson always gives you what he's got. Now, obviously, the truck not running. His wife, Julie, just is happy probably to see it in one piece there because Dennis hit it hard on that second set. He said, heck, this thing ain't going to run right. I'm just going to try my luck and see how hard I can go and make pretty people get a show. Watch him again. Obviously not going very well for him, and he just decides to hammer it on the second set. But we do understand Grave Digger won't make it out to the first round. So Dennis Anderson giving him a little bit of a show, but that's all he can do today as the breakage problems that have plagued him throughout the year are back again on the Grave Digger. We're going down to Army Armstrong to get the complete story on what has happened to the Grave Digger.
Dennis Anderson, one of the crowd favorites. Word we're getting, you're not going to make this first round.
No, I'm not, Army. You know, we had some problems earlier and with the gearbox, and we went out and tested the truck. The gear stripped in the box and put a lot of strain on the transmission. And when I got ready to pull up to qualify, I noticed second gear had a weird noise in it. So I come off the line pretty easy. Then I hammered the truck in drive. And then on the way back through pit road here, I could hear some noise inside the truck. And we went back and checked it out. And I've got a hub going away in the transmission, I guess. So we're not going to be able to make it. There's not enough time in between rounds to change transmissions, get all the safety loops back on it. So we're going to be down for tonight.
Grave Digger out after only qualifying in Myrtle Beach, but the rest of the field is ready to go to side-by-side action. John Pyatt will bring out Bigfoot 4 probably for the last time before Bigfoot 8 goes back into action. And Pyatt's going to give it all he's got to keep Andy Brass in the hunt for the World Championship. Take a look at the 1990 TNT World Championship Monster Truck Challenge point standings. Equalizer carries a 49-point lead in the competition at Myrtle Beach over Bigfoot. Remember, the points for Bigfoot 4 and the points for Bigfoot 8 are combined into one unit. So Bigfoot 4 is trying to hang in there. Crunch Crusher, Kong have been holding those spots 3, 4, and 5. Then it's Gravedigger, USA 1, Nightlife, Outlaw, and the Buffalo Tremor in the top 10. And, of course, that's where the big money is paid at the end of the year when they start divvying up that season point fund. The no-problem Ford Bronco with its new driver, former Driver of the Year David Morris, takes on the Wild Hair Chevrolet and starving Marvin Smith. It's all Wild Hair. A little bounce at the end, but nonetheless a strong run for the Chevrolet. The old Stomper Chevrolet now converted into the Wild Hair for Marvin Smith out of Arnold, Missouri. And again, David Morris just can't seem to get a feel for John Moore's no-problem Ford Bronco. And well, things just don't seem to be working there with the Driver of the Year from a year ago. This guy had a good run. There's Marvin Smith. Let's go down to Army, who's with the Wild Hair driver.
Marvin, real quick, in sports terminology, it looked to me like you may have gotten your bell rung on that run.
Yes, I did, Army. It hit pretty hard on the side of the roll cage there.
Did you actually?
I think I rode a wheelie for a pretty good ways, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, but you had to keep the thing planted on the ground.
Okay. Yeah, I rung my bell a little bit. I hit the cars there and got in the hole, and it started up. I had to nail it and bring it back out. And when I did, it just, I had to stand it up.
Another interesting matchup coming up here with the King Kong original monster truck. This one goes back to the early days of the old exhibition vehicles. This was one of the first monster trucks built. King Kong, built by Jeff Dane out of Texas. Steve Kane drives it, taking on the new design Ford of the Outlaw. Nick Rossi built it. Mike Wine drives it out of New Jersey. This ought to be a dandy. Here they come to the second set. And King Kong gets the impressive victory over Mike Wine's Outlaw. But again, fast losers get to come back, and that was a good run for Wine. We may see him again before this night's over. Still, this old monster truck continues to show just how strong he can be against the new design jobs. And Steve Kane, he just drives the dickens out of this truck.
This thing tonight's kind of like riding a rocket ship down a bowling alley, and you got to just go right down the middle of this thing?
Yeah, this course is going away, Army. It's there's big holes in cars and stuff like that. The ramps are shooting you off one way or the other, You just got to go out there and you just got to try to hold the truck straight and just go, as fast as you can.
King Kong does go as fast as he can in the quarterfinals, and it'll get him in trouble. Don't miss this one. Chevy Showdown to start the quarterfinal round of monster truck racing action from Myrtle Beach Speedway in South Carolina on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Scott Douglas, Army Armstrong, and Chris Chapman bringing you the action as the Equalizer Chevrolet takes on the Wild Hair Chevrolet. And this powerful team out of Tennessee, the Equalizer on the right of your screen, certainly the favorite over Marvin Smith's Wild Hair out of Missouri. Here they come to the second set of cars. It's all Equalizer. 4 points toward a possible second straight world championship for the Gary Cook team. As Greg Holbrook, the rookie who was picked up just a few months ago to drive this truck, seems to look better and better every week. Here he puts the Wild Hair away without much problem. Marvin Smith just seemed to have really very little momentum on the second set of cars, so it wasn't a 100% run, but the Wild Hair could not really challenge the Equalizer. Didn't look like anyway. And as you can see, Holbrook just nice and smooth, nice straight shot. Boy, I'll tell you, Greg Holbrook does not seem intimidated by these walls on either side of it. Starter Richie Schaefer motioning the Carolina Crusher and King Kong to the starting line. Crusher will have the lane that has room for error because there's just a wall to your left, just the guardrail on the left. On the right, it's open racetrack. In that other lane where King Kong is, you've got guardrail on the right and a pit wall on the left. Very little room for error. Quarter-final round action. Ought to be a dandy. 2 outstanding trucks here. King Kong's been running great as of late. Carolina Crusher, maybe the most consistent truck on the tour. Second set, they're even. Kong gets the victory, and he's in trouble. Steve Kane is in trouble. He's out of control down the pit road. Look out! The fire is burning on the King Kong truck. We cannot find the driver, Steve Kane. He's actually landed on a couple of police cars at the end of the track. The safety crew is trying to get down there. There's Steve Kane right there. Steve Kane is out of the truck. That was the roar you heard from the crowd. There is Steve right there in the red driving suit. An unbelievable crash at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The fire extinguishers being used to put out the flames from King Kong. There's Steve Kane walking this one off. He looks like he is okay. Boy, I'll tell you, he's shaking his head, and he's talking to Marvin Smith, and it looks like he's saying, I'm okay. There's Nick Rossi, the Outlaw. Everybody coming over to see if Steve's all right. And I'll tell you, it looks like he just needs to walk this one off for a minute. What a run for King Kong. That has to be the most unbelievably spectacular monster truck crash in the history of this sport. Army Armstrong's down there. He's going to try and get a word with Steve Kane to see what his thoughts are. Army?
First of all, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, Army.
You have any idea what happened?
When I come over that second set of cars, it got really squirrely on me, and it looked to me like I was going to hit that wall, so I was trying to compensate for it when I was, before I hit the ground, turn the wheel a little bit. And I think I turned the wheel just a little bit too much, and, when she hit the ground, that front end really hooked up, and
It looked to me like when you turn the wheel, the right front hit the ground, but at that time, the left front wheel was up on the rail. Is that what could have thrown you over this thing? When you got the left wheel onto the rail, it looked like you're really in trouble.
yeah, I think that's, I really don't know. Everything was happening so fast, I'd have to look at the video, but I'd say that'd be about right. That front tire hit that rail and everything.
Well, we've been talking in the sport about how you drivers have to do something that's almost unnatural. That is, when you get in trouble, you have to gas the engine. That's exactly what you did. I cannot think of anything you could have done different to get out of that situation.
Well, I don't know. I seen that sign coming up, and all I was trying to do was get it turned back over on its wheels, but nothing worked,
I'm glad you're okay. We'll see you next week.
We'll see.
Steve Kane, obviously still somewhat dazed, but boy, thank God he's okay. Look at this crash again. We're going to watch it. Steve Kane, the King Kong truck on the right side of your screen. As Army so very aptly described, at the end of the track he got in trouble, and once he got over the wall, there was nothing he could do. He just kept on kicking back. And now the natural reaction for these guys is to throttle to try and power out of trouble. And all that did was go ahead and take him on over, and look at him land on top of those two cars. And I guess this was the scariest point right here, because you could see the trucks engulfed in flames, but we can't see Steve. He comes out of this thing amazingly fast. It looked like it only took him maybe 5-10 seconds to get out of it, but at first, during the live call, we couldn't see him. Now here's one that you've got to wonder about. How can these two police cars be sitting this close to the end of this race course? And I know the officials and the track officials and the TNT officials have to be asking themselves, did they do the right thing? Obviously they didn't, because these cars should have been nowhere near to let this happen. Boy, and here comes the kicker to the story. We're now told that they're brand new police cars, and they're being towed off from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I don't think they're going to fix those babies, as King Kong squashes two with one flip in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Well, there you can see it. Kong is still upside down in between the cars, but he smashed them both before he got there. An unbelievable accident, the wildest thing I have ever seen in monster truck racing, but Steve Kane is okay. The course is going to be repaired, and we're going to have more action in just a minute on ESPN. Don't go away. Never have I seen anything like this in monster truck racing. King Kong flips at the end of a wild run. Not only does he shear the gasoline pole down that had that Union 76 sign on it, he flips, explodes in flame on top of two police cars, but the driver gets out okay. You can't say the same for the police cars from Horry County. The Outlaw lines up as we're going to go back to action. Well, this crowd is really pumped now in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Clydesdale, the Chevy, takes on the Ford of the Outlaw. Mike Wine's got the momentum and the victory. Mike Wine and the Outlaw Ford getting the victory over Bennett Clark's Clydesdale Chevrolet. So the Outlaw moves into the semifinals. And earlier, actually I guess it was last week when we heard from Mike Wine on the subject of his new engine. We're going to be talking more than today about it, I'm sure, because Outlaw looks as good as he ever has in TNT competition. It's a new chassis, it's a new truck, and now what the Outlaw team wants to talk about is a brand new engine. The Mopar Magic Dodge. Gary Wiggins comes out to take on the Ford. John Pyatt and Bigfoot number 4. Work in keeping the Bigfoot camp in the points race as he picks up some crucial victorious points there for a win over Mopar, and now a battle for Ford supremacy will be coming up in the semifinals because Bigfoot and Outlaw are going to be going head-to-head. Right here, though, Bigfoot with a big victory over Mopar Magic. John Pyatt getting a win, and every win means more points for the Bigfoot camp that Andy Brass can work with when he comes back. Here's Army with John Pyatt. Army?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of a historic evening. The reason it's historic, this could be the last time they're ever going to run the Ford truck. You said a moment ago in your interview that you're going to go out in a blaze of glory. You go to the next round. Does everything feel okay?
Yeah, the Ford Acclaim Bigfoot is running great. There we have Donnie Kessel, my crew guy, and I have been working on it, and there is no problems at all with the truck.
You guys are kind of young to be in monster truck racing. An accident like we had a moment ago, does that affect you at all?
No, not at all. I rolled this truck over about 3 or 4 months ago, and 15 minutes later, I was out racing again. We put 2 quarts of oil in and went out. It does not scare me at all.
Army, I wish you wouldn't use that term blaze of glory tonight. Goodness gracious. Well, this one didn't end in a blaze. A good, strong run for John Pyatt and Bigfoot number 4. So the Ford is looking good. Again, Bigfoot and Outlaw are going to square off. A battle for Ford supremacy in the semifinals. You know, Mike Wine's got something to say.
I can't wait to get Foot. I am dying to beat Foot. 2 years I've never beat him. He's embarrassed me. Never again.
That will come up a little bit later, but first, the Chevy fans get something to cheer about as 2 of their champions, the Carolina Crusher and the Equalizer, go head-to-head. Monster truck fans will remember that these 2 trucks went neck and neck for the World Championship a year ago, with the Equalizer edging out the Carolina Crusher for the world title in 1989. Side by side. Very close, but nonetheless, the Equalizer gets the victory. Carolina Crusher pushed him hard, but the rookie driver in the World Championship truck, Greg Holbrook, has enough to get it done. On the replay, we take a look at the semifinal matchup, and Equalizer has earned a berth for the 2nd straight week at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in the Monster Smash Final. He won the first night of competition in Myrtle Beach. He's going to try and do it again a little bit later. After putting away the Carolina Crusher, Greg Holbrook will now stand by to watch and see who his opponent is going to be in the Monster Smash Final, because the semifinal action between Bigfoot and Outlaw, the Battle of the Fords, is coming up right now. Boy, both these guys have so much on their mind. John Pyatt trying to hang in there for his whole team, the Bob Chandler organization in St. Louis, the original monster truck people. They're trying to win this world title. Their new truck comes back. But Mike Wine and Nick Rossi want it bad, and the Outlaw is going full tilt. The Outlaw has done it, and he does it convincingly. Mike Wine and the Outlaw Ford smash Bigfoot in the semifinals at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I can guarantee you Mike Wine is walking around on clouds right now. A superb run for the Outlaw. It was no contest. Mike Wine gets it done, and I'm going to tell you, his truck owner Nick Rossi is probably doing somersaults back in the pit. This was the victory they wanted, a head-to-head win over Bigfoot. Let's go to Army, who's with Mike Wine.
Mike Wine, they're taking your truck back to the pit area. Your crew says it's 100% ready to go to the final. 100%, no problems at all. The only reason we keep taking it back, we're from a gasoline motor to an alcohol motor, and we still only got a 10-gallon fuel cell in it. I'm about out of fuel when I get down there, but he'll get it back. That's my boss. He'll fill it up. That's my crew chief, too.
Everybody was afraid when I got in this lane right here. I'd be afraid of that wall last week. Well, I'm ready for this lane. I'm ready for this wall, and I'm ready for Equalizer now.
I'll tell you something you don't know. I can tell by this interview. You're not going to be in this lane. You're not going to be in the wall. He likes the lane. He likes the wall. He's going to push you on the other side.
That's fine with me. Less wall, more throttle on an open lane back here. That means I got a lot of runaway to slow down. I can finally open that motor up. I'm tired of running at half throttle.
You've been chasing these guys for about a year and a half now. You still have to put that first win under your belt. Is it going to happen in Myrtle Beach tonight?
I'm going to try my best. If I don't get it, something broke. It won't be me giving up. I don't give up.
Thank you. It's 1990 World Champion Equalizer against the upstart Outlaw in the Monster Smash. Don't go away.
South Carolina, narrowed down to a Ford Chevrolet battle in New York and Tennessee. The equalizer, the kid out of Tennessee, the rookie, trying to hold on to this thing for the big, big win. And the kid going after him is going after his first win ever with a brand new engine combination. Confidence is not a factor here. Both drivers believe they're going to be in a winner's circle. Stay tuned. We're going to find out right now.
Army, you know, it's already the greatest night in the history of Mike Wine's monster truck career on the TNT Challenge. That win over Bigfoot is something that Nick Rossi and Mike Wine as a team have worked for the last couple of years as they put their new team together. And with the Super Winch people now with them, they're on cloud 9. But they've never won an entire TNT event. This would top it off, but to do it, they got to beat the champion. The equalizer in the Outlaw. Outlaw's got the early lead, but he can't hold it. He can't hold it. Trouble on the second set of cars, and Greg Holbrook has done it again. The equalizer Chevrolet makes it a clean sweep of 2 nights of competition in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And the equalizer extends his world championship points lead over Bigfoot. It looked like Outlaw had the edge, but something may have went wrong. The Outlaw definitely slowed, and Holbrook hit it hammer down on the second set of cars. You're going to see Greg Holbrook with a nice, smooth run. The Outlaw real squirrely, and Holbrook and the equalizer on the right of your screen getting the victory.
Mike, when you came in this thing, you said you were not going to roll over. He was going to work for it, and for the first half, it was just dead even.
I know, I got toward the middle of the cars, and as you saw, it really got squirrely on me. It's not worth running into him. It's not worth hitting anything else. I'd come back next week and run again. Come back in the finals and run him again and run anybody else without destroying the truck.
The truck is where you and Nick Ross have worked hard to get here. Okay, what's so amazing is the team concepts here. Gary Cook picks you up. This time last year, you're riding ATV motorcycles. Now you're racing these things. You guys have always said if we get the right combination, it's going to work. That's exactly happening. Boy, 1990 is just going to be a war year for you monster truck guys, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, we're in 9th position right now in the national points. Before the end of the year, I'll be in the top 5 or I'll be in the top 3 without a doubt.
Mike's been tough. First year he was running, having a little bad luck. Now he's got his new motor and he's going to be a heck of a little driver.
This monster truck racing is really turning into something big, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's turned out to be pretty wild. Who'd ever thought? I was a truck driver driving over the road for 9 years. I finally quit. Just got bored sitting home, and this is what I ended up doing. Who'd ever thought him driving around in the woods would be out here? He's going to be a national champion. I'm going to be right chasing behind him.
Yeah, this kid's only 19 years old. Wow. It only can happen in America, ladies and gentlemen. Monster truck racing at its best.
Right now, the equalizer is still on top. His advantage, you can see it in front of you. 59 points over Bigfoot, but Andy Brass brings Bigfoot 8 back in our next round of competition on ESPN. Crunch, Crusher, and Kong still battling for position. Then Gravedigger, USA 1 Nightlife, there's that Outlaw, and Buffalo Tremor rounding out the top 10. It's been wild at Myrtle Beach. For Arnie Armstrong and Chris Chapman, I'm Scott Douglas. We're going to leave you with one more look at King Kong on ESPN.